Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Guardians of Middle-earth Guardian overview. Today we'll be taking a look at Beregond, a warrior guardian. As a warrior, Beregond has a decent basic attack damage and it does scale fairly well throughout the game. His passive allows him to enhance his abilities after making successful basic attacks. Turning of the Tide will do a sweeping attack hitting everyone in range and clearing all CC effects. The Shield of Gondor enhances his move speed and grants him a shield. Noble Sacrifice will taunt enemy guardians or creatures, jungle creatures that are near him. And his ultimate Guard of the Citadel will deal a massive amount of ability damage and silence enemies for a good period of time. Beorning Strength will grant him additional max health. As a warrior, he's good as an off-tank. And Wilderland Hunter gives him some move speed, attack speed, and critical chance, making his basic attacks, which you'll use for his passive, pretty hefty in the late game. As far as potions go, you got a lot of variety with Beregond as a warrior. Most of the potions that I run with him are hardiness potions, recovery, resilience, things of that nature, and then a dash potion occasionally. As far as commands, we have heal, smite. You can go spiked armor again as an off tank. Then we have summon archers, possibly lightning if you want to initiate, and a summon defense as our final command. So getting to his moves, first I want to talk about his passive. Notice his sword, nothing unusual about it, but when you do a basic attack, it lights up. It's encased in flame now. And his passive stacks up to 3 times. However, his sword does not change after you make several basic attacks. So there's no real way to know how many stacks you have. Just if it's on fire, you do have it. So there's his A ability, Turning of the Tide. Dealt 150 damage. That was with 3 stacks of his passive. And I like to demonstrate how much damage it does just to show you that the passive does have 3 separate intervals. So with 1 stack, it only deals 130 damage. And remember, with 3, it dealt 150. And then with no stacks here, we are going to see 120 damage. And so that just demonstrates that the passive does have some functionality, even though you can't see it. So here's a taunt. Notice the symbol above the creature's head. He got off about 2 attacks while taunted, and that was with no stacks of the passive. And then after 3 attacks, so we have our passive stacked, we're going to test the taunt again to see if the duration is increased. And unfortunately, it is not. He still gets about 2 attacks off, and then the taunt ends. So your taunt does not benefit. So here we'll take a look at the shield. And I'm just going to demonstrate the movement capabilities of it. So I do a little line run here. There's a small pickup in movement speed. And then I'm going to test it again, but this time we'll go between the horns. Now, movement speed does suffer from diminishing returns. So the belt that I have gives me move speed, which means any additional move speed isn't going to be as impactful. So between the horns here on the ground, you see the time it took, and then we'll test it again with the shield. So it is definitely a little bit faster that you can see there. And his shield lights on fire when he does that, so it's a cool little effect. Now his ultimate, base damage on the ultimate is 225 damage. We saw the blue number there pop up. And it silences the creature as well, so the little ear symbol above its head. Then I'm going to test it again with 3 stacks of the passive. So we're going to get 3 basic attacks and the ultimate again. And that time it dealt a little over 290 damage. So definitely worth getting those stacks. Beregond can play a couple different ways. So you can build him with ability power. You can build him as a basic attacker. You can also do a good move speed belt. And he's very good at backdooring, so kind of running past lane minions and popping archers under tower and just melting down towers. He also can be played as an off-tank, as I mentioned, which that Beorning Strength definitely helps with. The character Beregond, there's a couple different Beregons in the Lord of the Rings universe. This particular one seems to come from the Third Company of the Citadel. He was a guard in Gondor. He was actually excommunicated by Aragorn when Aragorn became king because he left his post and killed Denethor's guards on hallowed ground, which the penalty for was death. But because he did it for the reason of attempting to save Faramir, Aragorn instead just exiled him, which ended up working out because he went and joined Faramir when he became the Prince of Ithilien, actually. So he continued to serve the captain that he had served under in a new role. The name Beregond actually comes from Bera meaning bold and Gond meaning stone, which may explain some of his moves: bold, taunting, stone with his shield and his resilience. So yep, that is Beregond in a nutshell. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching.